in a world. What's up, everybody? I didn't get around to doing a computer stream last night, so I figured I'd do another daytime mobile stream, and I'll definitely try to remember to do a computer stream later tonight. But I'm showing my boy Jack and just trying to learn a lot of stuff about the scriptures, about Hebrew, some of the stuff that we've been lied to about regarding those issues. And I'm really trying to utilize the time here efficiently. I know that's what I'm supposed to do, so that's what I'm doing. But anyway, just a sec, let me grab my drink. So what's up? Infinity split to 46, 456. Oh yeah, the Kool-Aid man. Shalom fam, shalom. Morning all. What's up, brother? Let some people get in here for a second, but where are you? I'm at Just Jack's. Yeah, like I said, I know that if anyone doesn't know, I'm not doing this tour for maybe the typical reason that some people would do something like that. I felt called to go out into the world. And so I do what I feel led to do regarding where we're going, when we're going. Oh, hi, Witsit. I'm just here eating some guacamole. That's good. Guacamole's pretty fire. When are you going to Rockfin so you can spit uncensored truth? I'll be looking into that pretty soon. I'll still be going live on YouTube a lot though, because I like people to just be able to hear it. But yeah, I'll look into that in the relatively near future. So anyway, I just know I'm supposed to be learning some stuff. This is kind of like a grounding moment for me, if you will. And so that's what I'm doing. And then we're gonna go to East Tennessee here, the next few days, and then I'm going to my crib, and then I'm gonna map out the tour more specifically. But if you're in Tennessee, if you're in the Carolinas, and you want to meet up, just email me. What's up, Austin? Love the backdrop. Yeah, isn't it beautiful? So I had titled this On the Horizon. So, disclaimer, I'm just speculating. I'm not claiming to be a prophet that knows what's going to happen, but I'm just going to speculate as to what I think they're building up. So for hundreds and hundreds of years, actually all the way back to right after Yeshua died, everyone's thought they were in the end. Everyone said that we're in the end. You can go back and find sermons every single year since where people claim that this is the end, we're in the end. You can go to, Austin's a creek in my background. Yeah, it's awesome. What's good, homie? What's up? What's up, Austin? What's up? Everyone claims that they're in the end, basically, is what I'm saying, okay? And so it's really an effective tool because we've been desensitized to that claim. So, anyone that ever starts to acknowledge that we may be in the end, it's just human nature, it's second nature to just dismiss it. Yeah, I sent you an email a couple days ago. I don't know if Nova/DC is too far out the way for you, though. We're going to DC to rebuke it. What's up, Chainsaw? All right. But nevertheless, here's the deal. I don't remember the pastor in the 50s that claimed we were in the end, living during the time that people were walking into stores being scanned on their wrist and forehead. I don't remember that. So it is super creepy. It's definitely weird. At the least, they're trolling us with the script of Revelation. If you can't be honest enough to say that, then you're just lying to yourself. If you can't at least acknowledge that they're at the least trolling us with the script of Revelation, you're just sticking your head in the sand. So I will say this, I don't think that the world's about to end in a couple years. I don't think that I think that we have a little more time than some people like to think, and a lot of people are freaking out. But how long it is, I don't know. But one thing I do know is, being that we do not know, it is clearly wise to start to look at your future plans with a bit more wisdom and discernment, right? So what you need to do is find a way to be sustainable without Babylon. You need to swallow your pride, because this is what a lot of people do, and this is kind of how I used to look at it. If we're being honest, I'm like, okay, well, if there's some truth to the scripture thing, when none of these people in this stupid church can answer any of my questions, and if I just continuously ask about Genesis 6, then I get kicked out, and blah 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 blah, it was a joke. And I'm like, and video we were watching the other night made a great point, like, oh, it's funny that the modern church loves to say that the law doesn't count anymore, even though it's actually instructions. So the Torah doesn't count, the Old Testament isn't counting anymore. We're under a new covenant, but they loved it. They have no problem going back to the Old Testament for one of the laws, which is tithing. So real fast, the modern church will be back under the law real fast when it comes to tithing. That right there refutes their entire argument. That shows their hypocrisy. Literally, they'll say that the Old Testament doesn't matter anymore just because this is the easier thing to tell you. And I'm just kind of laying this out as a foundation of interpretation for where I'm going. It's on the horizon, obviously means I'm going to predict where I think things are going. Okay? But anyway, it's much easier to tell you that, works perfectly in its cookie cutter representation of Christianity. Throw out the Old Testament, the new car. Are you saying Jesus died for no reason and all this nonsense? They get you in your emotions by playing a rock concert, telling you what you want to hear, taking things out of context. One out of context first, they'll literally just talk forever. They've been taught to actually speak with a certain cadence to get you emotionally involved. Like, oh, say it with me. It's like, no, how about I don't say it with you? You're getting on my nerves. And then, we're going to go back to the Old Testament. We're going to go back to the Tanakh. For one thing, right, the Torah is applicable now because we need our tithing. So here comes our little plate. That right there shows you that they're stupid and they don't know what they're talking about. There's a hypocritical foundation in the very doctrine that they give you. From the jump, it's a joke. So when you people were going down swinging, I just find it to be pretty hilarious. It's basically like the people that you go around in the world talking to about truth, and they effectively defend the government. They defend those who have deceived us. You're doing the same thing. It's like did the government or the globe theory, like the proponents of the globe model, did they hire you as a defense attorney? Because this is getting weird. Right? Like, are you a defense attorney for the modern church? Are you a defense attorney for the globe earth? Are you a defense attorney for the government? Because they don't care about you. It's just like when we go around, we try to tell people about the mask. They argue with us. They attack us, right? If I'm in a store, everyone will converge on me and attack me because I actually love oxygen. So it's just pretty funny, if you have the wisdom to step outside of that, you understand you're actually trying to fight on their behalf. You're actually trying to help them. We're all on the other end of these deceptions. So you should just take a step back and realize what you're doing. You're actually being a defense attorney for the same church that was derivative of the teachings of the Roman Catholic Church. The same people that say that the Old Testament doesn't matter anymore, but now we need to get our money. Now the law does matter. You better tithe. You have to tithe. It's just a joke. And then they'll try to justify this by saying, well, you don't have to, but you'll be blessed if you do. And then they preach this prosperity gospel, which just for some people, because, I get it, dude, religion sucks. And some of you guys are like, Austin only talks about religion now, but I literally don't. I hate religion. This has nothing to do with religion. This has to do with the fact that you can't offer an intellectually viable postulation to explain to me how you're here without acknowledging creation, the necessary antecedent to creation of the creator. If you want to look at it from an intellectual avenue, have fun trying to explain how you exist without acknowledging that you were created. If you were created, do you think that he just left us here hanging, hoping that we figure it out? That isn't how it works. That's not how it works at all. So you guys need to just wake up. I'll do a rejects comment real fast. Titus hijacks, not about a religious funding for widows, orphans, those in need, and appointments. Moadim, exactly. And you're supposed to do it, right? So it's about like giving your money to widows and orphans and those in need yourself. So there you go. He gave us instruction. Exactly. Watch out for ticks over there, bro. Don't speak that into existence. I'm good, homie. Anyway, so I was just thinking about this, say, like, this has nothing to do with modern Christianity. It sucks, bro. It's trash. And honestly, I'm not going to really sugarcoat it for you guys anymore. If you get offended, it doesn't matter. Like, Christianity is trash, and it can kick rocks, and it pushes people away from the Creator. That's why it was designed. And these people that claim to be truthers, to not see that is just baffling to me. You think that the people that have cast all this deception on us for every single aspect of our life, every single aspect of it, from the very way that you were originally conceived, right? The very way that we were originally created, to tell you that abiogenesis is somehow viable, and that inorganic matter turns into organic life, and lightning struck primordial. See, all kinds of fairy tales they could never verify. It's literally just them dropping LSD, sitting back in a room, laughing, coming up with stories. They're like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, that was profound. I figured it out. Everything came from nothing, even though there was a pre-existing energy, so it doesn't even answer the question of the necessary antecedent to creation. And then everything's going in all directions, an ever-expanding universe. We can't really tell you that it's ever expanding or that it's infinite, because we could never get there to verify that. But don't worry, I promise that it is. And then primordial soup was struck by lightning, and then we just don't worry about the fact that amino acids could never just possibly just rearrange themselves magically. But then a rock turned into living matter, and then the first cell that actually made it, with all of the statistical improbability, that's literally impossible, statistically impossible, it then decided to replicate during that first successful time. And then we had things that popped up out of the water and grew feet, and now you've turned it from a rock to a fish to a rat to a ape to a human. And don't worry about it, that's just how it actually happened. The same people that have lied to us about every single aspect of our life, and they have us in a Federal Reserve Ponzi scheme, right? So we're in a fiat currency Ponzi scheme. They've lied about major wars. They've lied about psychological operations they cast onto the public over and over and over. They've taken over the media, Operation Mockingbird. It's declassified. They literally use the television as a weapon, which is what it is, to send certain frequencies at you, and then to create a binary so they can guide you via the Hegelian dialectic. They control you in every single aspect of your life. They've taken over higher academia, which is public, which means the government runs it. They've taken over schools. They've brainwashed children. They've taught you that murdering defenseless babies in the womb is somehow not murder, even though they can feel pain, and that's just stupid. So with this, like, let's just say monolith of disinformation, misinformation, and deception that's been cast over you in just about every single aspect of your life. Pharmakia, when really synthetic drugs do nothing but weaken your immune system. They don't even fight the disease, quote unquote. They are actually just temporarily attacking the symptoms, so that you'll just stay in this perpetual cycle of needing their stupid little medicine, which of course, pharmakia, we translate it to sorcery. That's where we get pharmacy from. So it's just a trick, it's just deception, when the truth is, if you'll just fast, if you'll just drink water, if you'll just maybe, I don't know, pray and humble yourself, if you'll get out in nature like this, if you'll breathe oxygen, you'll get out in the sun, you'll be fine. If you'll exercise, you'll be fine. But no, you need to take pills. It's just like when I used to smoke weed, and I got in trouble back in the day for a couple grams of weed, and I literally had to go to rehab for that. And they asked me why I smoke, and I was like, oh, well, sometimes I have anxiety because my cousin killed himself, and that just kind of triggers me. And she's like, oh, well, don't worry, we'll prescribe you Xanax, right? So anyway, my point is that to think that they just left alone the most pivotal part of everything, which is your relationship with the Creator. And if there's a Creator that has this ability to have a personable relationship with you, that loves you, you need to get right with him, because he wants to give you eternal life, but he made you free and you don't have to do it, right? And he gave you instructions to help you out. To think that these people that have literally not let one little facet of your life go by without deceiving you, have not tried to infiltrate the most important aspect of your life, is so incredibly stupid. I feel like it's dumber than someone debating the globe earth, right? Like and then just like ignoring evidence. It's that stupid. They obviously did. They're attacking your spirit. They're attacking your soul. Okay, they don't want you to be able to connect to the Creator. They don't want you to know these truths. So let's take a step back. I don't care how long it is that you've been in the church or whatever. Church sucks. Christianity sucks. It is what it is. If you get triggered, you get triggered. No one cares. So we need to take a step back as people that are seeking the truth, and that's what it all comes down to. Do you really want to know the truth? Can you actually let go of your predispositions, et cetera, et cetera? And so the reason that I laid all that out is just so you understand where I'm going with this. Yes, the church has been desensitizing you to false predictions of us being in the end, even so much so that people will predict dates. And it also tells you that in the end, people will be like, where's Yeshua at? Where's your Yeshua guy at? It's been 2,000 years, right? Where's he coming? And supposedly, allegedly, it's been 2,000 years, but let's just run with it. Oh yeah, Yeshua's coming back, Austin. It's been 2,000 years. Where's your sky daddy at? And really, they're just intellectually insecure. They're also spiritually insecure, and they're actually self-projecting depravity and immorality, and this insecurity they have because they're afraid of linear code of ethics, objective morality. They don't understand it. They can't humble themselves. They don't want to know the truth. And so they think that if they somehow can convince themselves in a public forum that they're smarter than you by demeaning you with straw mans, that they don't have to face this reality. But the truth is the reality goes nowhere. Reality is independent of your predisposition. It means nothing. And this is just something that you're going to have to humble yourself and swallow your pride and seek it, or you're not. But you shouldn't really worry about what other people think. And they've effectively, made this truth look stupid to the outside. Because like I said, I used to get kicked out of Sunday school because I kept asking about Genesis 6. And they wouldn't answer. I'm like, but it says there were giants. Oh, no, we're not talking about that today, Austin. Yeah, but you're talking about Genesis, and so I'm trying to understand why are we in a chapter past chapter 6, but we're not addressing the fact it says there were giants. Wouldn't this be, very important, vital context to the rest of the story? We're not talking about that. But I don't want to hear you teach about the book if you don't believe in the book. So do you believe in the book? Were there literally giants? And of course, at the time, I thought there were giants. That's crazy, right? And so they wouldn't acknowledge it. They wouldn't answer my question, and then I'd eventually sometimes be asked to leave or to step outside. And I don't want anything to do with that, and it was set up so that would happen. It was set up so that 13-year-old Austin would be like, okay, call a female, scoot me up, I'm trying to dip, this is dumb. That's why it was set up. It was set up so that you would think it's dumb. That's what religion is. You think that the people that deceive you in every single aspect of your life just left this one away, left this one alone. That's laughable, bro. That's stupid. Doesn't even make sense, okay? So we know that they lie. One of the things they've done is they've taught you an entire replacement theology, deifying this false image of Christ, saying that he did away with the Torah and the instructions when he literally, the entire time he was here, did the exact opposite, pointed you right to that, rebuked everyone that added legalistic interpretation to it, at the same time was pointing them to it. Because it was a form of correction saying, don't listen to these Pharisees and Sadducees who have added to it. You don't have to add to it. Don't add to it. It says not to add to it. But this is what it is. You need to understand it. If he was rebuking them for adding to it, somehow you think that means that he was throwing it away at the same time? That's stupid. He straight up told you that he wasn't, but they told you that he was. They kept on telling you that we were in the end, freaking out with emotional override of logic. That's what they instill, and that's why they speak with certain, can I get an amen? They just try to get you all riled up. They get you to repeat them. It's literally a science that they broke down in ministry schools, which was, of course, almost 100% driven by the 1909 Schofield Bible, which are people that hate Yeshua. So you should probably take a step back and realize that your doctrine comes from people that want to, like, for believing in Yeshua. It's a joke to them. It's a trick that they played on you. They're like, these people can't even read their own scriptures. These people don't even actually understand what's going on. They don't even read the true words of this Yeshua guy. But don't worry, we're going to twist him. We're going to change his name. We're going to change his birthday. And we're just going to laugh at the stupid little, they may would say, goyim. So all that to say, yes, we've been desensitized to some of these predictions that I'm going to make, but it is what it is. It does indeed appear that we're in the end, okay? In the season of the end. And when I say appear, it's a little more for that for me, this is anecdotal. I can't bottle this up for you and empirically prove it, as is most of this conversation, because you can't physically manipulate the unseen existences of Shamayim, but there's literally no intellectually viable postulation outside of that of how we have the phenomena we do in this world. So scientifically, you just sound stupid to me. But I'm still going to tell you guys what's going on. So he told me, when I say he told me, I didn't, it was my thought reoccurring, but I didn't have control of it. And I've told a lot of you this already, so I'm not going to get too in depth with it, but he told me, we are in the end. We are in the end, and I want to use you. I didn't know who he was. You want to use me? Who are you? You want to use me for what? What are you talking about? The end of what, bro? It wouldn't go away. It wouldn't go away. I was sober. I didn't read the scriptures. I didn't care about them. Okay, so it didn't go away. It wasn't optional for me to hear that. So if you've ever experienced that, then you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you may think I sound crazy. It literally doesn't change anything. I then said a prayer, asked for an undeniable sign, which I think he actually wants us to be a bit assertive with our power that we have, by the way. And yeah, I got that undeniable sign. Like 5 things happened the next day. I then opened it up straight to Ezekiel 38. Didn't know anything about it, read it, but I did realize this is like a crazy epic war about the end. If that's not a confirmation of the end, the most epic end time war ever, I don't know what is. And so then said another prayer, got another confirmation, etc. So for me, yeah, we are in the end. We are in the season of the end, but the season of the end in the grand scheme of things, certainly to one that exists outside of time, could be quite a long time, right? That was like 3 years. This could be freaking 4 more years plus 7 more years. This could be 4 more years. This could be 40 more years. This could be 100 more years. I don't know. But I do know that we're in the season of the, that means that where they have started going, they're not backtracking, okay? That's what that means for me. What that means is where we have gone now, there is no going back, getting right, getting better. They're building up the system right now for the ultimate deception, the ultimate great deception, where they take over the entire world for like at least the third time. That's what's going to happen. And so they are, now we're going to get into some specifics. This is where I am speculating as to what's on the horizon. Of course, the horizon is just an apparent location that fluctuates based on atmospheric conditions, and it's certainly not a physical, tangible obstruction consistent with the radius value that the stupid ball Earth theory that defies physics claims. But I digress. That's not what this is actually about. It's not about the fact that stupid people think that the horizon is physical, even though they have to admit that it's not physical at the same time, and then they do mental gymnastics to defend their overlords that lied to them to keep them stupid. So what I think it is they are isolating certain cities that they have created for a smart grid, okay? And so they're going to build smart cities, but certain centralized hubs of these smart cities with federalized banking systems. But this will not be the federalized banking system that we have right now. It will be an entire different system. They're going to do away with the fiat Ponzi scheme, right? So the way that they do this is they run the dollar up. Well, if you just look around, guys, they've been running the dollar up for like, what, 3 years now? At an astronomical rate. They've actually been doing it much longer than that, but now it's getting ridiculous at this point, and it's not going to stop. And not only is it not going to stop and continue, but it's actually going to really ramp up, in my opinion. So when it does, I don't know. I don't like making date predictions. I think they're stupid. No man knows the day nor the hour, not even the angels. But even more than that, I mean, I'm not making predictions about any of this because I don't think they really know. We give them a bit too much credit. They are kind of psychopathic. They do want to control the whole world. They think that they have this Luciferian entitlement of collective consciousness where they're special boys. But at the same time, they're kind of updating their plans constantly, in my opinion. They do sketch out certain psychological operations far in advance. And they pull them off, and sometimes we're like, dang, we weren't really ready for this. So anyway, all that just to say, I don't know the date of these things, but I do think that they continue to ramp up the dollar. The death warrant of the dollar has already been signed. Fiat currency has never survived. There's never been a successful fiat currency to ever exist in the history of mankind. It is going to crash. But the point is, it's not just going to crash and then they're going to react to it. They're going to crash it. So that's why they're running the money up. Oh, let's move the minimum wage up to $15. Let's just start throwing money in everyone's direction. Stimulus, stimulus, stimulus. Unemployment, unemployment, unemployment. I heard someone tell me that they're flirting with the idea of $2,000. $2,000 a month for everybody until the pandemic's over. So what they want is everyone to literally be dependent upon the beast system, as in they cannot survive, they cannot provide for themselves without the beast system. And that's what's happening. Now, right now, people think, no, people are getting tired of this. They're going to get back to work. They're going to get, no, they don't. See, this is human nature, right? When you give someone a free handout, they're going to continue to take it. This is just economics 101, okay? Like, it's very simple. If you incentivize people not working, the people that do work, that don't even like handouts, that don't want the government to give us all kinds of money, they're going to sit over here, work super hard, make less than the person that literally plays Xbox all day and does nothing. And eventually, those people are going to migrate over to the group that's getting free money because it isn't fair. And so that number will only continue to grow. It will not decrease. This is the blunt, hard truth of how it works. It's really not complicated. That's what they're doing right now. They know it's a gradual process so that it can, sneak in under your nose. They don't want the people to realize what they're doing, okay? Use a stimulus to build self-sufficiency. Yeah, sure. I agree with that. And self-sustainability, and I think the same thing with the cryptocurrency, right? But really my point is, like, this is their grand scheme, right? Like they want everyone dependent upon the government. And I'm not like in any way rebuking you. What I'm saying is the dollar's going down, bro. Like if you take some of their money that they've been stealing from you forcibly every time you buy anything ever, or every time you do your taxes, if you do them, which you actually don't have to, then yeah, whatever. Like, it's not even their money. It's not their money. They're not giving you their money. They're giving you parts of your money back. But from a grand scheme of things, we're supposed to work, and they don't want us to. And this is the thing. Like we talked about, how they're telling you that beards are bad now, right? And they're gonna get you sick because the Torah tells you to wear a beard, and the instructions want you to wear a beard. Yeshua supported that. Everyone had a beard. Having a beard was associated with being an elder. It's super important. I can tell you from personal experience that I miss my beard on like a metaphysical level. And so they're attacking that. It's the same thing, a man who does not work shouldn't eat. Well, what are they going to do? They're going to get everyone to not do anything. They're not going to just don't ever do anything. And see, work can be defined in a whole bunch of different ways. How are you inputting? Are you Are you helping people learn? Are you helping teach people? Are you going out and doing what you're supposed to do regarding what you've been called to do? Are you physically working? There's a whole bunch of things here. But just to do nothing at all, lazy, like just literally do nothing, that isn't the move. That's the opposite. What do they want to do? They want everyone to do nothing and to plug into an augmented reality. So they have to create this fictional threat outside so that you can justify staying inside, doing nothing. This is a direct attack on the instructions. It's going to be specifically engineered meticulously, all about the opposite of what the instructions tell you to do. Okay? And so my point is the dollar's going to collapse. The dollar's going to collapse when? I don't know. I think it's going to be a few more years. I think that people kind of freak out. It's just like for 2 years now, the truthers have been saying, oh, the dollar's about to collapse. Like, I've been telling you the dollar is going to collapse, but I don't think it's going to be this crazy fast thing. It's a process where they're just going to, as people are just starting to get normal, or, you know, basically accept that this is normal, even though it's the furthest thing from normal that you could possibly have. It'll just build while people aren't really paying attention. That's how you do this. That's how they do everything. And so it's going to get to where it can't be saved. It already is there, okay? The death warrant's already been signed, but when they actually let it crash, I don't know, because they're basically running around having a party right now. They're like, okay, what do we want? Throw money everywhere, throw all the rich people like crazy business loans, prop all these people up where we'll shut down all of the smaller independent corporations or independent businesses that are somewhat competition collectively. We'll shut them down, we'll prop you up, you'll make more money while we try to forcibly shut them down, which some people aren't really complying now, but it's too late. You did. A lot of you lost your business because you did. And then and actually, some of the people that didn't go, like, specifically try to shop with the people that didn't shut down but were a small-owned business, you are part of the problem too. So anyway, then they build up these big corporations, and at the same time, they're basically like throwing them extra money for free under the guise of this like fearful tactic of everyone's going to die, watch out for the air. So it's pretty brilliant. They're building up this monopolistic system so that whenever they roll out the new system, there is just centralized control for each sector, and it will be surveilled via like a smart grid. So there you go. The dollar's going to collapse. There's going to be no private transaction. Doesn't matter if they try to say that via encryption it is private. That's a deception, and it will be centralized with certain smart cities. And dare I say, maybe that's where they're isolating some of these riots, and I'm sure some more will come. I don't know. Maybe this guy appeals and wins his appeal, or maybe not. I don't really know, but either way, they can literally just create one story and make everyone riot. That's how brainwashed America is right now. And yeah, I'm just talking about America because that's where I live, and it obviously has a huge cultural impact on the world, and we do have like an insane amount of military spending relative to anyone else. So we are pretty powerful, except for, you know, one certain foreign state that apparently you're not even allowed to critique nowadays. And I would critique them if I wasn't on literally one last strike and this channel gets terminated. All right, so there we go. The monetary system is obviously being inflated at an astronomical rate. It's being expedited, but it still will be gradual. So if you can follow what that means, it's pretty simple, right? So it's going to go down. There's no doubt about that. So something else they're going to do is they're going to update communication. So right now we have iPhones. They're super advanced, right, relative to anything that we know of. But of course we know the government and the military is like 20, 50 years advanced, more advanced than we are technologically. But anyway, they're going to update communication. I don't know exactly how it's going to happen. I think in the long run, they're going to give you something that you can telepathically communicate with. And this is many reasons why this would benefit them, okay? For one, like, it's just a huge appeal. So the idea that you can efficiently communicate without any type of device that you have to externally control or manipulate, right? Instantaneous communication, that right there is just a huge thing that will lure people in. In addition to that, dude, if everyone's telepathically communicate, they can really mess with your thoughts. They can really mess with your mind because you're tapping into the ether, but you're tapping into the ether via the way that they let you. See, tapping into the ether isn't necessarily bad. See, we were created with these metaphysical capabilities for a reason. And the reason the instructions are here is so that we can rein them in with responsibility. We cannot just be given our full power from the jump without any type of discipline. We would destroy things. That's what they're going to let us do. They're going to give us little pieces of this metaphysical power as if we needed them for it. That's the whole trick. That's why they have to make sure you don't get to the instructions, make sure you don't get right with the Creator, the Father, Jehovah, right? Because if you do, you'll realize that these are yours. You don't need them to get them. So the telepathic communication is clear. communication. They update the media system. So they come out and they acknowledge a lot of the deception. That's my point. How do they do it? I don't know. I still think that Trump's a viable option, but I'm not going to call it. But whoever it is will rule from Jerusalem. Okay. So does he come back before that? I don't know. His son? I don't know. Like, I really don't know all the answers, guys. And neither do you. But they are clearly building this system, and they're building it based on the Revelation script. It's a perfect parallel in just about every single aspect of it. And so there's no reason to live in fear. There's nothing. This is actually an awesome time to be alive. But if you are scared of this, you're just because you're not right with the Father. And I'm not scared of it. Like even the aspect of how I deeply long for a wife and children. Like I still don't trip in that aspect either. There's nothing to freak out about here. This is actually a beautiful time to be alive. We're having tons of things revealed. We were detached from tons of truth, but now we get massive downloads of the truth. And if you seek it out, he's gonna hit you with just about as much information as you can keep up with in different forms. So, hey, Witsit gets it. Much love and no fear. Yeah, absolutely, bro. No despair, fear. You got a legendary beard, bro. What an epic beard from No Despair Bear. So there you go. There's the monetary system, the communication system, the media system. Obviously, there's going to be someone that comes in to save the day. It's not going to be Joe Biden. It's not going to be Kamala Harris. And this seems Amerocentric. I get that. Like, this is just one bit of the deception, but it's pretty important, and that's where we live. And I see that they have to come in and basically give you something that appears to be golden, right? So the way that this will work, in my opinion, what if the telepathy happens naturally? You can maybe telepathically communicate naturally. I think that you can, but they're going to give, that's the whole point that I'm trying to make. All of these deceptions that they come and give you as if they're technological advancements, spiritual and metaphysical advancements that they had to gift us with. Maybe they even bring in metaphysical entities to actually present these to you as if that they exist outside of time and that they had to come give them to us. We don't need them for any of them. You have all of them. You have all of them right now. You have the ability to manifest things. You have the ability to understand and interpret things, to telepathically communicate, to intuitively understand things, to feel frequencies and vibrations around you. You have all kinds of metaphysical power that we're supposed to be harnessing in, right? And Yeshua himself said, you're amazed by the things that I've done, but you can do everything that I've done and greater things. That dude walked on water, bro. I don't know if y'all have read the story. So you can do a lot of things. The whole point is that they have to keep you detached. That's what this entire materialistic confinement was built for, in my opinion, right? So the entire materialistic world confinement was so that you don't realize that you have the metaphysical power, because then they can come in at the end and they can be like, oh, here's your metaphysical power. Now you can levitate things. Now you can telepathically communicate. Now you can tap into your intuition or understand your dreams or control them or whatever. And because if you knew that you had these powers yourself, then that wouldn't deceive you to sell your soul away. So that's the whole entire trick. The whole trick is that they're going to come in and offer you what you already have. And there's literally a list of instructions that tell you how to do this, and so they don't want you to know that. That's why it's being attacked. That's why the system's being engineered to be completely antithetical to that. So that's basically what the gist here is. It's like the whole system's being built up so that you will go away from the instructions that give you the metaphysical power, so that they can come in at the end after things get a little bit shoddy, and they can say, oh, here's the tricks, here's the metaphysical power that you don't have, and now you're a special boy. When really the truth is that you had all the power the whole time, and there was a cheat sheet for you to get it, but they don't want you to know it. So the monetary system will be replaced, the media system will be replaced, the communication system will be replaced, and in order for all this to happen, they have to let this one crumble. This is a controlled demolition. This is not like, oh man, I wonder what's going to happen. We have to react and figure out how to fix it, which is how most of the stupid normies will fall for it. But it is meticulously crafted, and what's the timeline? I don't know. And again, I think it's maybe a little bit more of a gradual process than a lot of the truthers think it is, but it's hard to actually fully understand that with how crazy it's gotten, how fast it's gotten recently. But still, I think it's just a gradual process, because that's the most feasible way for the dollar. That's the most feasible way for a new communication system. It has to be a gradual process. Just like it's going to take 2 weeks. Now it's been over a year, but now everyone knows what it means when they say go in lockdown. Now everyone knows what it means whenever they say you have a curfew. See, it's just a natural thing. And so in addition to that, is it possible that they're rolling out like a blatant eugenics program? Yeah, pretty clearly. I mean, they've had eugenics in the works for a long time. So to have a more controllable population within this new system that's controlled with smart cities, with a new communication network over top of you, a new surveillance system via the Starlinks and the towers that are like every 300 yards in the big cities, they're going to have to make sure that there's a more controllable population. So this means like literally with the physical physical head count, and this also means with where it is that you reside. So most people are just going to stay in their house. That's all that they're going to do. They're going to stay in their house, tab into the augmented reality. They're not going to ever leave their house. They're not going to feel the reason to leave their house. And they're going to actually be told that they have some virtuous high ground, some moral superiority for staying in their house, because they're going to keep everyone safe from the air because it's so dangerous. They're going to actually reward you with cryptocurrency. And I will say this, but I have to tiptoe on this, like the quantum dot tattoo, right? Where it actually utilizes the luciferase enzyme tracking the light activity in your body. It takes 9 months and then effectively rebirths you, and it can actually track your body activity with 100% accuracy. This is just me like quoting verbatim what it says on the medical journals and what it says in their own patenology. So if I'm a crazy conspiracy theorist, then ask these stupid psychopathic corporations why they build it. But anyway, it's invisible to the naked eye. So what's going on right now may be a eugenics effort, and then they swoop in at the end of that and they give you this updated version that is a little bit different, and it's to get the people that didn't quite fall for that. And then they supposedly offer you the reversal of cell degradation, telepathic communication. You don't age past 25. You won't effectively age anymore. You get to, so maybe they say 25 is the perfect age, because that's not a terrible age to pick. I don't know what their actual deception is, but maybe you get to pick yourself where you don't want to age anymore, or physical appearance, right? Because you would continue to, of course, live throughout what we call time, which is just human quantification of passing, and it's kind of stupid. So they're going to offer you all of these things that seem amazing, and then a lot of you live in debt, which, I mean, I'm currently in debt just for the stupid iPhone I'm talking on, but most people are victim to the usury tricks of the powers that shouldn't be. And so when they come in and they offer to take this boot off your neck of usury and debt, most of the people will fall for it right there. Certainly when they're looking in the face of starvation, etc., because the entire system is going to implode. I don't know when it is, but it will be a gradual process, but it will be overnight, if you understand what I'm saying. So once they basically pull the trigger, it will be very quick. That's why you should go ahead and get right now, maybe, right, instead of putting it off. And it says, of course, in Matthew, when Yeshua was approached, he said, the deception will be so great if it were possible, even the very elect would be deceived. You should look at it like, maybe I should get right before that. A lot of people think that they can just decide that once it starts to happen that they'll get right then. And well, I mean, Yeshua seems to disagree with you, so it's probably best that you don't put it off. I don't know when it is. I'm not trying to use fear porn or fear mongering or be a black pill doomer. It's like, oh man, freak out. No, it's a beautiful time to be alive. It's really easy. The Great Divide is beneficial because when you go out into the world, you know people that are stupid. You immediately know who you can't trust, who has no wisdom, who isn't right with the Creator, people that you shouldn't even be around, because you know most of them are walking around like droned zombies, and you can see almost that they're empty and that they're blindly obedient. And so this is the Great Divide. It's going to even get more clear, and so that's a benefit. We're having tons of truth revealed. It's becoming more abundantly clear what the deception is. It seems like the more power they get, it's proportionate how obvious it has to become, if that makes sense. So as they try to make a bigger power grab, right, proportionate to that is the transparent nature of the deception. Infinity split to 456. I have to give thanks to Yehovah connecting me with a like-minded fellow locally, the bassist in my worship band, who is awake to flat earth and now sees how they robbed us of our Shabbat and Torah and tricked us into sun worship day. That's awesome, bro. That's pretty cool, because I think that would happen more often than people realize if they would actually go out and just speak the truth, even though it seems uncomfortable at first. But I'm happy for you, bro. Much love, and thank you for the support as always. So I don't want to get too specific with the predictions, right? Because I don't know what's going to happen. I have a Is Trump the Antichrist stream. You should check it out. I mean, you know, like really, Zionists have literally printed his face on coins, claiming that basically he's their Cyrus, who was appointed to build a temple. They call him anointed in Hebrew. That's Moshiach, which is Messiah. So it's pretty interesting. They may think that he did move the embassy to Jerusalem. There's a lot of, like, you know, coincidences with his name. Wait, let me read this other super chat. Flat Earth on Seclara, white ice wall, iris, land and sea, green, brown, blue, pupil, UI, other center of existence, /I, black like the reported black magnetic mountain in the center of the plane. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, you typed that pretty difficult to read out loud, but I see what you're saying. That is very interesting. So, like, basically the outside of your eye being the ice wall, the iris being the land, and the sea, green, brown, blue, which is the prominent colors of the eye, and then your pupil being the center of existence, the black, like the reported black magnetic mountain. That's some gravy, though, for sure. Yeah, I agree that it's very possible. That would kind of make sense, because I know that the Creator definitely has a sense of humor. So basically your eye is the same as what, you know, an orthographic view of the earth would be. Who knows? So yeah, I'm just saying, be wary of Trump. What they're going to do is they're going to make people long for him or someone like him, because if you are in the political system at all, you're in the B system. If you're picking one of the sides of the political system, you're in the B system. That's what you're doing. And if you're constantly obsessed with it, constantly thinking about it, arguing about it, posting about it, that's your adoration, that's your worship, because you are obsessed with it. You're putting that above your Father, that you're putting that above what you should be. It's adoration and it's worship. You can be obsessed with hating Trump, you're worshiping him, okay? And so what they're going to do is they're going to make it just ridiculous, where this guy's just stumbling along his words and looks like a complete and total psychopath, and it's just so laughable that anyone that has any common sense is going to be like, wow, this guy sucks, and you're going to really long for the replacement, even if it isn't Trump, which I think it probably will be, but it might not be. It might be someone else, maybe like someone else tied to Trump, but then Trump ends up going over to Jerusalem to kind of like unify it. I don't really know, but this is pretty obvious what they do. They always do this, right, with the false binary of politics. They bounce you back and forth like a ping pong, back and forth on both sides, and that's all that's going on. It's going to get much worse, though. This is going to be probably the worst one, at least since I've been alive, where you're really going to long for the other side again. And they did that as a trial run with Obama. This will be a lot different. Some argue that he's not even in power. I don't want to go on that. I don't know. But when it is, doesn't matter. The point is that if you have wisdom, you would know this is not the time to put everything off. Like, just get right. How do you not see that they're attacking the instructions like meticulously? They're actually reverse engineering the instructions. That's what they're doing. And that's why a lot of us are being called back to it, because we're seeking the truth and we want to know the truth, and he knows, like, this is what you need to know. You said you want to know the truth, you want me to reveal myself to you. Well, here you go. This is the truth. This is how you get closer to me. So just swallow your pride. Or you can go down swinging with your pride, and you can just go down believing the false doctrine of modern Christianity that is apostate already, and will go apostate even further so, and will actually worship the Antichrist, and will take the mark of the beast, somehow justifying it, or they will be deceived into taking it. So they'll be deceived into taking it. And if you follow these people that are going to be deceived into taking the mark, that means that you're going to be deceived into taking the mark, because your entire spiritual foundation that's supposed to help you be in opposition to the mark is going to be guided by people that don't actually even believe what they say, by the way. But some of them may think that they do in a carnal mind aspect, where they don't have real spiritual experiences. They tell you that spiritual experiences aren't real, or they're metaphysical, or they're woo-woo, or whatever. And that's so that you don't understand how real this really is. And there you go. That's what this all comes down to. So in my opinion, just in summary, what they're going to do is they're going to cast a net of deception that's meticulously engineered to be the opposite of what the instructions tell you to do, every single aspect of it. They will outlaw Sabbath. They'll say that there are religious fanatics that claim we're in the end, and they cannot be allowed to continue practicing this doctrine or this worship, right? And so on the Sabbath, we do not allow them to keep the Sabbath, because it's just it's a huge threat to national security, because they're religious fanatics. There you go. I've already figured out how they could do it. You act like there's no way they could do it. I just now figured out how they could do it. Just spitballing in the woods, bro. You don't think they can figure out how to do it and create some like cover story for it? They obviously can. You're not, dare I say, you're not gonna be able to wear beards, and maybe they have everyone somehow shave their face, shave their head also, because you're not supposed to do that. And
because it carries diseases.
There you go. Yeah, the CDC will just say what they're already saying, only extend it to your head. And so they're going to have people shave their head and shave their face, and they're going to have people not take the Sabbath. Maybe there's going to be all kinds of things that you can't do. Whatever it is, it will be specifically and meticulously engineered based on the opposite of the Torah, because that's what Babylon is. That's the whole point of Babylon, right? Like, that's actually what that's what Nimrod was all about, and that's even what his name means, to rebel against Jehovah. So it's just going to recycle. There's nothing new under the sun, but I wanted to give you some modern interpretations as to what's going to happen. I think a lot of you have already thought of this, but to think that none of this is happening is stupid. And also to run around just like drowning in fear porn is also stupid. And so if you are starting to see these things, but you're super fearful of it, that means, well, you need to get right with the Creator, bro. That's why you're tripping. That's why you're tripping, because I'm not tripping. I think that this is actually a pretty awesome time to be alive. So there you go. That's basically my take on all of that. Come on, people. Only 52 likes, 150 people watching. Smash the thumbs up. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, I struggle with masked and blank Christians. Yeah, quote-unquote Christians. And the dragon was wroth with the man, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Yah and have the testimony of Yeshua.
Yeah, the ones who don't keep the commandments are not a threat in Revelation.
Revelation tells you that the people that don't keep the commandments, we're good to go. No worries on them. Just watch out for those that keep the commands in the end. And I know not everyone agrees with with Enoch, but Enoch tells you the same thing. That's a reoccurring theme in all of the scriptures, bro, and all of the prophetic scriptures also. So that's what all the prophets were doing, right? The prophets were saying, look, here's what's going to happen if you don't get back to the Torah. Get back to the instructions, or this is what's going to happen to you. Okay, and so all the prophetic interpretations would have that same underlying premise. It just stands to reason. It's pretty obvious. And like I said, I know everyone doesn't agree with the book of Enoch, but Enoch does specifically tell you, like, it's all about getting to the law, getting back to the law, and like that their judgment is specific to that. So I'm not gonna say that that's wrong because that's what the entire scriptures say. Like that's what it all says. So either way, we know that that principle stands true, and that's what the Messiah himself said. So I just think that we're not ready for, not we, but some of us, some of you guys are not really ready for what this deception is going to be. It's not going to be like some dude breathing fire, bro. It's going to be a very smooth transition into a meticulously crafted society that is engineered to go directly opposite direction from the Torah. Every single bit of the Torah will be reverse engineered, but it will be smooth. Everyone rests on Sunday. There you go. Like, it's not like they're not gonna make you like slaves in chains walking around in cattle cars. Like, that's not how it's gonna work. That's not how it's gonna work. I'm not gonna say that it doesn't get to like that, because whoever doesn't actually conform to the system, it may become like that. But a lot of you are going to, because it isn't. A lot of people just like, oh, I can see through Joe Biden. I can see that they're trying to start a war. And no man, where's Trump at? Like, you're gonna fall for it, bro, because it's gonna be so much smoother than that. It's gonna look awesome. It's gonna be like, oh, you're starving, here's tons of food. Oh, you're in debt, here's gold and silver. Oh, you're afraid of dying, well, here, you never get sick anymore. Oh, well, you also never die because cell degradation has been reversed. And I can almost guarantee you that deception comes, because they don't actually have to attain that ability, which they can't. Well, I'm not going to say that they can't. I don't know what they can do. Although that would actually be the worst thing you could ever do, is trap yourself to this fleshly body forever. But people that just lack so much discernment, they don't understand that that's actually like effectively hell, I guess. I don't know how terrible that could be. They will long for death and it will flee them, though. And that's what's very interesting, huh? Like, they will long for death and it will flee them. So maybe they do effectively like slow down cell degradation, and they somehow morph you into this augmented reality of transhumanism, where you don't just get to decide when you die, and it'll be so bad once you realize what you've done and that it's irreversible, that you'll want to just end it, but you won't be able to do that. So I would suggest everyone kind of, how about we familiarize ourselves with the instructions that they're going to basically outlaw, so you'll know what it is and you'll be able to guard it. You'll be able to hold them true so that it can protect you, and then, you know, it'll actually, what I think will be what keeps us alive in the end, like literally. I agree, it will be smooth and devious. Yeah, of course it will. Half a year is a long time in that state. I don't know what you're talking about. Logic is not with these people at all. So many great points made here. Thanks. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that. Yeah, they lack logic. They lack logic, but what it is, they actually lack spiritual discernment. They don't have the eyes to see. It's like, this goes for some flat earthers, bro. So that's my whole point. Like, flat earthers are logical, right? Like, to even fully understand and accept the premise or the postulation of the Earth not being a magic spinning cartoon ball that defies physics, it requires some logical deduction to jump out of your indoctrination. So this is a little deeper than like just the carnal mind's logic. This is you're being spiritually blinded. You're being spiritually conditioned to remain blind. You're being spiritually conditioned to accept the new system, and it will be in the face of what seems unbearable. And it does say like if it, like, the day shall be shortened for the elect's sake, because no flesh would survive. So it will be like what appears to not be survivable. Okay, that's the whole point. So then they get you in this situation where it's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to survive? How am I going to provide for my family? I don't have any clean water. I don't have any food. And you're going to have to know for a fact that Jehovah is real, the Father's real, and he's actually going to provide for you, so much so that you will look into the face of starvation and no water, not being able to provide for your family, literally not knowing where it's coming from, like not knowing where anything is going to come from, okay? And then just turning down the solution to all your problems like that. And going out into the wilderness, going out into wherever you are, going out by yourself, sincerely trusting that he provides for you. This is a totally different ball game. This is a big deal. Because you can say that you're going to see through it, but that doesn't mean anything. Thanks for helping me through my 10-hour day at work. It makes it a little easier. Yeah, of course. Even though I'm about to wrap this up. I have a rare case of the CS. I don't know what that is. All right, there you go. I just wanted to like speculate stream as to the end and do a mobile stream, you know, because I don't want to leave you guys hanging. I might do a computer stream later, but I don't know. I can't make promises. I don't know. The Torah and wisdom literature is what I've been into lately. That's what's up. Isn't that kind of redundant? The Torah, wisdom literature, that's redundant. A lot of truthers trying to do it on their own. You need Jehovah, and you need to read and study even if you think Mandela effect is affection. What? Remember Elohim is supernatural.
In other words, they're saying that Elohim is changing things, and then the Mandela effect shows that he loves you by letting you know that things are changing.
Oh, that sounds to me like he's trying to confuse you.
That's their claim.
Yeah, even though the author of confusion is not the creator. I don't want to get into all that, but what I will say is look a little deeper than just making assumptions, because I'm not going to depend on people that misremember something over like the most ancient manuscripts in the world. So I don't really want to get into this subject because I know like it's really polarizing right now, and I honestly just don't care. I don't care about like dealing with any drama, but the point of the matter is, just for example, I'll just go ahead and call it out. This one right here, the lion and the lamb and the wolf and the lamb. The wolf and the lamb is in Isaiah. It's been in Isaiah the entire time, okay? And the lion and the lamb is in Revelation. It's talking about Yeshua. It's a totally different verse. The modern church only speaks about the New Testament. They only talk about the prosperity gospel replacement theology of this deified Jesus Christ, and that you don't have to worry about the Old Testament because it's been thrown away. And so all the modern Christian churches and the representations of that have been pushing that name. They've used ministries with that name. They've constantly talked about it because they only look at that, and that's people don't even read the scriptures. So like the people that where it's in Revelation, they didn't even read it in Revelation either. They don't even read Revelation. They just go to church and hear someone say lion and lamb. They've just heard it a million times. Yeah, it's still there, bro. So in the Old Testament, it's different. So for me, that right there proves that if you can just want to believe something, that you can, and then you have to go around saying, I know that it said it in Isaiah, knowing damn well that you don't read the scriptures. You didn't read it in Isaiah. Most of the people that talk about it don't even believe in the scriptures. And if you do believe in the spiritual resonance and importance of the Torah in the ancient manuscripts in Hebrew, you would never claim that it could be changed, because literally in that very book it tells you that not one jot or tittle can ever be changed. And even the little creepy grabblers that basically run an insane amount of the world, they know that they can't change that. That's why they've created the Talmud. So they even look at it like it controls it's the fabric of the entire universe, basically the glue that holds everything together, and they can't change one jot or tittle. So they create an oral teaching into a written form of the Talmudic interpretation that you're supposed to read before the Torah. So for me, I don't care. I'm not going to get into some crazy argument about it. This makes me a baby truther. No, this makes me someone that needs actual empirical evidence before I go out speculating about things. I'm not going to go speculate about the scriptures being changed when I know for a fact there's no actual evidence for it, and all the ancient manuscripts still say what it says in Isaiah. So I have to take your word over ancient manuscripts. I have to take your word over the truth. It doesn't make sense, over what's empirically verifiable, and then just say, no, the creator of all things is switching things around on me. This is actually being used to undermine the validity of the scriptures. This is why I don't usually talk about it, because I'll end up getting like upset about it, because it's very obvious the intention of this deception, right? Or of this, let's just say there's a real phenomena, 100%. Anyone that dismisses the phenomena, they're tripping. The cause of the phenomena, I know for a fact not one person in this chat knows exactly what it is. And if you think that it's the actual changing of physical reality, can you offer me some empirical evidence of that even being possible? Because I can actually offer you like an idea of how that would happen, and I'm not going to do it for you guys because I haven't heard any of you come up with it yet. You can't even come up with viability. So for me, I think it's a very dangerous game to play. It's just leading you down a rabbit hole to undermine the validity of the scriptures, which is the most important thing that we could possibly look at right now. The instructions are for you. The Torah is for you. We need to understand them to get closer to Him. We need to be able to isolate ourselves and distinguish ourselves from the world so we can survive in the modern Babylon that's being built. The last thing we need to do is say, oh, well, everything's changing, so I'm not going to read them anymore. I remember them. You don't remember them because you were taught stupid doctrine in modern Christianity. You don't remember what the Torah says because you never read the Torah. So stop lying about how it's on your heart. You don't have to worry about it because it's supernaturally changed, so now you can take away personal responsibility away from you of studying the Word and showing yourself approved. That's how I feel. So I don't care what modern Christianity has to say about it. It's just all they're trying to do is undermine the validity of the scriptures to get you in a confused state so that you don't understand the power in this. So Is
Yeah.
the phenomenon real? Yeah, but that's it.
I used to go to a Lutheran church where we would read "Forgive us our trespasses" and we would sing "Debts and Debtors."
I gotta.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was in church, in a Lutheran church, which is like one step down from Catholicism, we used to read "Forgive us our trespasses" and we used to sing "Forgive us our debts." So this is a trick of theirs where they took control not just of the scriptures, but how to interpret scriptures. So whenever you read any scripture, you already have the preconception of what they've programmed into you by their sermons. So I understand how that can get confused. And as far as like the different translations being changed, you all have to go back to the original sources. You can't go by the translations because they changed them. I mean, even the English version of the Jewish translation, it's called the Jewish Publication Society, you'll see that it says something in Hebrew and then they print something completely different in English. They purposefully mistranslate things so that they can get you confused and say, you know, we're the smart ones. We know how to interpret this. You don't. They actually have a law in Judaism that says you cannot read the Talmud first. And the same thing goes for church unity. You know, whenever you come across something, and if you've had any question in your church before, think back to where you read something in scripture, you ask your pastor about it, and the only thing he says is, well, you just got to have faith. Or you can look into that and pray about it and then come back to me about it. They're just hoping that you don't come back to them because they don't have answers to these questions because they don't study scripture. Pastors do not study scripture. They go to theological seminary, they learn, and we call it jokingly cemetery because that's where the spirit goes to die. They go to their seminary and they learn how to teach their doctrine. They don't teach scripture. It's a problem. I mean, I went to seminary myself and I thought that I was going to learn some new information, some secrets or whatever, because I know that I didn't have enough information about the New Testament, the Old Testament, that I actually took Old Testament studies and Hebrew. And when I went there, I did not conform to their way of doing things. Like they wanted me to give them an essay of why I wanted to become a pastor or church leader. And they told me to use other people's books, and I was not allowed to use the scripture to explain why I believed what I believed. And because I didn't do it by their method, I got flunked out, and I owed them thousands of dollars, and I was unemployed at the time, and they didn't give me any lenience. It's all a business. The churchianity, whether it's Judaism or Christianity or any other religion, it's a control mechanism. Let's take it from those who are not like expensive religions like Buddhism. You have to trust in a guru. You have to trust in a man to show you how to come to the fullness of your potential. When in reality, if you just sit alone in nature and just try to commune with Yah, you'll start to understand your true potential. I'll give you your chair back, man.
You could have stayed.
Yeah.
And so I will actually tell you just to say it. So like I can offer you something that actually holds some weight as an intellectually viable postulation as to how the material world can be changed. Because Nikola Tesla, who was really just basically rediscovering things that were hidden from us, he said that when the ether, which is actually just the unseen existences, we talk about this, Shamayim, right? So whenever the ether is thrown into infinitesimal prodigious worlds of velocity, it can manifest as matter, and that when that energy resides, it will revert back into the ether. So there you go. That's the only intellectually viable postulation you have. You can't empirically even demonstrate that to me. I actually do think that that's real. I think that we have a metaphysical connection to the metaphysical realm around us that we cannot see. That's more than obvious. There's no other way that everything could exist. This does not mean that you can go back and change a manuscript, an ancient Hebrew manuscript from thousands of years ago. Okay, so basically what this is being used is to prop up a certain sect of the truthers that now they're the special boys. So now, although we're pursuing truth and we're supposed to all be in this together and we're supposed to be humble, and those that humble themselves will be exalted, those that exalt themselves will be humbled, and we should be learning. No, you just don't have the eyes to see. You just haven't have it revealed to you yet. You're just a baby truther, and that's just ridiculous because there's no empirical evidence for this. And the only thing that this does is it undermines the discoveries that we've had. So effectively, you live in an alternate dimension, an alternate reality within the simulation that's being authored or whatever you want to say. So okay, I guess then that in this other reality we were in, the Earth was actually a globe. It was actually a globe, and it's just changed into being flat now. So where does it stop? Right, the passport really did come out of paper, and I mean out of fire. The paper passport really did pop out of fire and then float down to the ground. But now we just know that that didn't happen. So, but it did happen in the other one. This is going to do nothing but undermine the validity and the truth and the deceptions that we've seen through. Right, so that's the problem here for me. I'm not gonna just run 0 to 100 on that. I think this is on the back burner for me. It's interesting. They've definitely messed with our minds. Well, yeah, you've been brainwashed with tons of propaganda and tons of media. People can't remember what they ate for breakfast. You think I'm gonna remember? I'm gonna bank my entire worldview or the validity in the scriptures that are here so that you can actually craft your worldview and that you'll have discernment. You think I'm gonna throw that out the window for someone that doesn't in any way read the scriptures, doesn't value them, doesn't think that they're real, doesn't actually in any way get alone and pray for discernment and read them and study them to show themselves approved, but rather they only know how to regurgitate mainstream Christianity doctrine where they sat in a pew week after week and they were told the pastor's interpretation of these scriptures and these stories, which that's what they are. They're stories. They're stories that the pastor told you. And the truth is that wasn't even their interpretation. That's what they were taught in ministry school from the 1909 interpretive Schofield Bible. So the ministry schools were infiltrated and people were just regurgitating what they were taught, and then they regurgitated to you. Then you regurgitate it, then you regurgitate it. It's the same thing with the ball earth. When I say a necessary deceit to pressure is containment. So how could you have a pressurized system adjacent to an imperfect vacuum, 10⁻⁷ torque? Gravity. People just say gravity. They don't even know why. They don't intellectualize why. They just know what they're supposed to say. They just regurgitate what they're supposed to say. You've heard Lion and the Lamb a lot because we live in a world where modern Christianity has thrown out the Father, has thrown out Jehovah, has thrown out the instructions, and it said there's a replacement theology where the old covenant's gone. Now we're under a new covenant. We don't have to worry about that. And they've propped up this single figure alone without the Father, when the truth is he's basically a bridge to the Father. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah, he's for our atonement. It's very important. You get your salvation from the Father, bro. That's what it is. It isn't just don't worry about the Father. You've only heard this false doctrine, these doctrines of men, where they've propped up this centralized figure of a deified Jesus Christ. So now all you have to do is memorize John 3:16. There's no accountability. And so when your entire worldview regarding Christianity, stream, I see chats.
It's buffering pretty hard.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
In a world. Sorry, I just immediately assume a game is trying to lie.
Upper circle of death, dude.
We have the circle of death. Let's see what we got here. Dang, bro. I don't think we said anything we can't say, right?
Go, you're back.
All right, we're back. All right, well, I'm going to wrap this up anyway. This is a sign that we had to wrap it up. So, sorry to talk about that. I'm sorry if that triggers you, but I'm really not sorry. Sorry that I'm not sorry. Sorry that you asked the question so you got the blunt answer. I know that that's a contentious subject right now. That's why I didn't really care to talk about it. But look, man, not one jot or tittle can be changed. So what did they do? They made all kinds of different translations that alter it over the course of hundreds of years. And then now there's something called the Message Bible, where it's literally just someone making up their own stories, and it has nothing to do with the actual truth. So that's the truth. Is, yeah, English has messed it up. English translations have messed it up. And I'm actually looking into Hebrew, and I can tell you, because Jack's showing me, that it's incredible how much they've messed up.
Yeah, it's even worse than the English messing it up, because like some fundamental doctrines that you've learned in church is not in the scriptures too. Try to find the sinner's prayer. Try to find ask Jesus into your heart. Try to find the devil was a worship leader in heaven. Try to find obey the law of the land. Try to find, all these different doctrines that are taught in church that have nothing to do with scripture. Try to find Christmas. Try to find Easter, and then you look it up and you see that it was translated from the Greek that says Pesach, which is Pesach. You can see that they completely they tell you this whole story in church, but you can never verify any of it with scripture. That's why I'm not a Christian anymore, is because I took every doctrine that I was taught in church and I can't verify any of it in scripture.
There you go. That's what it is, and that's actually what the deception is they knew that they have created a society where everyone holds their beliefs solely on what they were taught to regurgitate. I still do. When I'm talking to Jack and we're talking about different, scenarios of the scriptures, I still have this flooded down memory of indoctrination. I'm still remembering doctrines. I'm remembering that the truth is, the way that I know about that story is I heard a sermon where a preacher told me what to think about it. And sure, I read along, but I was just listening to how to interpret it. And that was in the English that was messed with. That's how we all were. We need to humble ourselves. This is a very long process of humility here. You're not just going to wake up tomorrow and know all the deception. But once you get deeper and deeper and you actually get to the bottom of each one of these issues, you find out, wow, there was a meticulous reason that they changed this every single time.
Taking stuff out, taking stuff out of context and then redefining words. That's what they do. And they'll take two words that sound alike in English and they'll say that it's the same thing. Like I hear people doing it all the time right now, like son and son. They're talking about the light in the sky and a descendant of a father. But in reality, if you look at it in the original language, it's Shemesh Ben. They sound nothing alike.
Yeah, exactly. Like the English language was just used to confuse you, and people were falling for it. So basically, we just need to get back to, maybe dare I say, the language that we're all supposed to speak, the very truth. At least it's where we can start to try to understand what the ancient scripts are actually saying. And we should pray for discernment and wisdom and humility, because that's what this requires. That's what it all comes down to. We got to get back to the Torah, take it or leave it, but it's clearly what the truth is, and it's instructions to help you out. And no, they're not just supernaturally changing. That isn't the creator of all things that loves you. When we live in the craziest deception in modern history that we certainly know about, he's trying to add confusion to you where you can't even trust the actual scriptures he left behind for you. That's ridiculous. That isn't true. It's an attack on the creator. It's an attack on your own ability to understand things. So just forget it. Stop focusing on trivial things that have no empirical here to help you. That's my take on that. If you want to talk about anything else, that's cool. But when you're doing that with the scriptures changing, now you're forcing me to call it out. So just leave it be.
For someone who's calling out from Palm Diggs KJV only, if you're looking at KJV only, look at KJV only the way that the pastors do, with a Strong's Concordance in your other hand. You cannot use KJV only and try to understand what it means, because they purposefully mistranslate things. But then if you look at the words that they corresponded with the English words, you'll see that they hit it. For instance, in the KJV, 6,828 times, they changed the name Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh into the Lord. But you'll never know that unless you have a Strong's Concordance in your hand.
Right. They took out his name 6,828 times. I think there may be power in his name, like it says. I think it may be important. They don't want you to know it. So let's just stop listening to them. They hate you, bro. They don't want you to know the truth because they know it's powerful. So that's it. I'm gonna wrap up the stream. I love you guys. Strong is bad. Yeah, dude, the English language is bad. So we need to we're in the process of just doing our best to try to put it into a conveyable message in our current language where we don't lose too much. So I love you guys. I'm gonna catch up with you on the flip side, like coin toss, and then I'll try and do a stream tonight just so I can catch up with any donations. I'm not gonna leave y'all hanging on that. And yeah, seek and speak truth unequivocally. Thank you, Just Jack. Someone said thanks.
No word.
Yeah, seek and speak truth unequivocally, and the weak find contentment in the consensus of ignorance, which is pretty applicable to our discussion. So just, understand that you're going to get attacked for seeking and speaking the truth unequivocally, and that's okay. Wear it as a badge of honor. I'm going to catch up with y'all later. If you want to support the tour, masqueradetour.com, MASKERAID tour.com, $Witsit gets it on Cash App, Witsit at protonmail.com. On PayPal, you can also contact me that way if you want to be on the tour. If you're in the East Tennessee area, hit us up. We'll be there soon. We're going to go through Middle Tennessee, of course, after that, to West Tennessee. So if you're in any of those areas, hit me up. If you're in the general South Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina area, in the general area of that, hit me up and maybe we can kick it before we leave. I just subbed, sweet bro. And I'm gonna catch up with y'all on the flip side. So
Yeah, one more thing. So just one more thing, like Strong's, he was saying like Strong's is bad. Yeah, I get it, dude, because like even though they show you that they translated it from Yehovah, in the definition it says the Jewish name of God. So they already hijack it and say, oh, that's for the Jews. So anyway, go ahead. Sign out.
Yeah. So I love you guys. I'm gonna catch up with y'all later. I'll probably do a stream later tonight. I know I always say that, but I'll actually try to do it this time. So I got a lot of people hitting me up saying they missed the computer streams. Anyway, rejoice whenever people revile you for his name's sake, for they did all the prophets before him. Seek and speak truth unequivocally. Whereas a badge of honor, it means you're doing something right. Peace out. Much